Hello, everyone. Omnify here. And I just wanted to come on here and share the breaking news in the National Basketball Association. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been traded to the Miami Heat. So, for those of you who are not aware, Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he's healthy and plays all the games in a season, he, in my opinion, is a top 5 player in the league. He can score the ball at will. He has off the chart athleticism. He's able to get to the rim at will. He's able to dunk at will. So his scoring's good. His rebounds are also good. He can also play make because he draws a lot of attention. He has a lot of gravity, and the defenders have to pay attention to him. And then also his defense is also good. He was MVP in 2019 and in 2020. And as he won his second MVP award in that same year, he was also Defensive Player of the Year. The only other 2 players in NBA history to achieve that, to win MVP of the regular season and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, are Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan. The only 3 players who have done that. Now, in 2021, he was able to lead. The Bucks to an NBA championship, and he won the Finals MVP in a Game 6. He closed it out, scored a total of 50 points against the Phoenix Suns. It was an all-time great NBA Finals and performance in Game 6, especially where he scored 50 points, and in that Finals as well, the Bucks, they were trailing 0-2. So the Suns had a 2-0 advantage in the series, but then Giannis and the Bucks, they came storming back off the performance of Giannis. Then everyone else had stepped up. But anyways, he's a top 5 player and all that. But ever since 2021, the Bucks haven't had a lot of success. So now it always has been speculated that he would get traded, and the Bucks are a small market team as well. So there isn't a lot of superstar attraction. There aren't a lot of like the free agents or players who are willing to move to Milwaukee, right? So now he's on the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat are a franchise who have a history of attracting a lot of superstar players. Like in 2006, you had Shaquille O'Neal, who joined a young Dwayne Wade. It was in the summer of 2004, and then the both of them as a duo, along with other pieces on that team, like Alonzo Mourning and Gary Payton, they were able to win a championship in 2006. And then in the summer of 2010, it was the blockbuster. It was the signing of Chris Bosh and LeBron James. And they had formed a big 3 and had gone on to win 2 championships. Then after that, another all-star who they signed of a few years after that is Jimmy Butler. So now they have Giannis, and he is paired with Bam Adebayo. And Bam Adebayo is an all-star player. He's a center. He had a crazy game in March in where he scored 83 points, and that is the second highest amount of points scored in a single NBA game. He broke Kobe Bryant's his record of 81 points in a single game all the way in 2006. Adebayo, who is not really a scorer, he was able to achieve that, and his defense is also good. So Giannis and Adebayo together is interesting. Is a good pairing. I feel like in terms of the defense and the and the dominance in the paint, but I would still say compared to the Celtics and the Knicks, I like I still have them over the Heat, even though they have Giannis now, because you also have to keep in mind, the Heat acquired Giannis through a trade, and that means the Heat had to trade away a few of their players and draft picks. So if this was a free agent signing and they just had signed him and paid him money, and the Heat had kept all their players, now the free agency acquiring is a whole other thing. And now you have all your assets still, except for money maybe, right? But you have all those other players. But he was acquired through a trade, and so the team is not exactly the same. At least they have Andrew Wiggins still. He's a solid player. If not an all-star, he's like almost an all-star level player. And he has a championship on the Warriors as well. He was a former he was the number he was the first pick in the draft in 2014. So they do have some solid players, but again, I still have the Knicks and the Celtics over the Heat as for now, but it's so hard to predict is because the last 8 NBA champions ever since 2019, we've had a new champion every year, a new champion, a new champion, a new champion. So who knows? But as opposed to predicting who's gonna end up champion, it's easier at least to predict who's gonna be like a top team in the East, right? And the Knicks and the Celtics, yeah, I'd say it's a good bet, but you have to keep in mind a lot of the reports, and it pretty much is confirmed, how even the Celtics, the Boston Celtics, they were interested in Giannis, and to acquire him, they were going to trade Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, who was the Finals MVP and Eastern Conference Finals MVP in 2024. Okay, Jaylen Brown, who all of last season held it down for the Celtics, and kept them atop in the East. As the second seed after the Pistons, as Jason Tatum, he was out until March, because Tatum had an Achilles injury in the 2025 playoffs, in the second round against the Knicks. So he was sidelined in the season, and then eventually, he came back. However, Jaylen Brown, he was their best player in the season. He was the one who had led the way. But now I don't know how he'll feel, if he'll have some animosity or feel some type of way towards the upper management of the Celtics, because they were willing to trade him. It's just that the management of the Bucks had felt the Heat had a better offer to give them, so they traded Giannis to the Heat. And now, if the Heat are able to acquire, like another player, like a guard who's like an all-star or something like that, now we're kind of talking, right? Like now we're saying like, okay, now you have Giannis and Adebayo in the paint, who are dominating in the down low, but you now also have a guard who can, help out in the perimeter and the offense, scoring, hit some shots, and all that, So it'll be interesting to see, because if they acquire a third piece, like now we're talking about they could be the favorites if they click and they play right and the chemistry is good. Another thing we have to keep an eye out for is LeBron James. He just completed his 23rd NBA season, entering his 24th. he also is a free agent, and even though he is no longer an MVP caliber player, he's still a very good player. I feel, especially at his age, he is 41 years old in December. He'll be 42 years old. And LeBron James, he's another player. If he joins a team, especially a championship contending team, he could take them over the hump as a additional, as a addition to the team. Like if he joins the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's say, who had lost to the Knicks in the conference finals, and the Cavaliers have Harden and Mitchell, right? You add LeBron to that, who knows, right? Like, and if Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, if they're playing good and all that, like, hey, like even the Cavaliers, like if not ending up in the finals, like I could see them potentially against the Heat, and they beat the Heat maybe or something, right? And who knows how the health or if anything is gonna play out. Like, but yeah, I'm excited for the Miami Heat team. The Heat are always a good team to watch. Eric Spoelstra is their coach, Hall of Fame coach. He had won 2 championships in 2012 and 2013 as he coached. He was the head coach as LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh had won their championships on the Heat. So yeah, Eric Spoelstra is still the head coach, and Pat Riley, he's still like the executive. He's the president of the team or something. He's calling all the decisions, who to acquire and who to not acquire. So yeah, it'll be cool to see. And again, Miami's a great city. So hopefully Giannis is able to attract a lot more players, because I truly believe he's a top 5 player at least, like if he's healthy. So I'm excited to see how this plays out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.